the girl isn't here, so
Yeah, so we're past
definitely
that.
rescued the girl.
Mhm.
Remember, there's the one with the bar. We killed the boss at least.
Clean hit. Yeah, clean hit was.
That's the one with the bar.
That's the one we just finished. So we're at neighbors
Yeah.
now, I think.
Yeah. We talked to the girl.
No, you can't talk to her.
She's just staring at the wall. Right?
Yeah. I think there's a TV or something on it.
Well, I didn't see a TV. It looked bare.
And she's staring at the wall then.
I guess she's just interesting wall.
Yeah.
Nice textures.
We haven't done this yet.
I don't think it matters. New enough. Yeah, so tank you're up right here. Left ear, other right ear. It's not the first time. Say, games don't make.
Wait, we've done this level. I'll just keep playing it till we get to a spot where we haven't.
It is the end of the day, you know. That's a predicament. The guy has a shotgun, so if you kill him and take his gun, then you can deal with the man. Clean. Alright. Yeah, so, yeah, this book is like 800 pages, I guess. This page is 400 pages.
What is this? That's so many pages?
Well, I have a stack of books here. Every single one. About $160 worth of books, because each one is basically 40 bucks. So the first one is going to be around 800 pages long. It's a pretty big book. And then this one, I'm gonna roughly estimate 400 pages long.
Jesus.
It's about half the length. And then the next one is going to be roughly 500 pages long. And then the next one, I'm going to roughly estimate around 700 pages long.
Oh, this is the, I think this is the last level we did when we finished. Because this is the biker fight.
Ah, yes.
Alright, so when we're done this, we can just cut into
so
the next episode.
the books that I got are The History of Western Philosophy by Bertrand Russell. Since its first publication in 1945, Lord Russell's A History of Western Philosophy has been universally acclaimed as the outstanding one-volume work on the subject, unparalleled in its comprehensiveness, its clarity, its erudition. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
I don't know.
Its grace and wit.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
In 76 chapters, he traces philosophy from the rise of Greek civilization to the emergence of logical analysis in the 20th century. Among the philosophers considered are Pythagoras, a bunch of people whose names I'm not going to try to pronounce. There's so many names here. There's Moore. Someone's name is just Moore.
More, please.
One of them is Bacon.
What?
There's a lot of people with names I do recognize, such as Aristotle, Plato, Augustine, Marx, Hobbes, Locke, Berkeley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just really popular people. There's a bunch of other names I haven't really seen before. And then, lastly, philosophers with whom Lord Russell himself is most closely associated. Cantor, Grieg, and Whitehead, co-author with Russell of the monumental Principia Mathematica, whatever that's how that is. Yeah, let me check exactly how many pages this book has.
This is where we ended. I was looking for it to say part 3, but okay.
Yeah, so
This is where we
this
ended.
book, okay, you know the Bible, you know how the text is extremely small?
Yeah.
This is about 900 pages long, and it has a text basically the same size as the Bible.
Jesus.
There's so much to read here. And that was the history of Western philosophy. Next up we have The Limits to Capital by David Harvey.
Jesus. Okay. Give me 1 second. My dog is freaking out.
Gave an intro to the history of Western philosophy.
Nice.
Next up, we have The Limits to Capital by David Harvey. It's a very minimalistic book cover. The majority background is white. Very nice, bolded black letters. It has The Limits to Capital, David Harvey on the beginning. And it looks like there's a 1/4 of it is covered in a blotch of red paint, and it looks like it's just a swipe of red paint. That's the entire cover of the book. It's a very nice cover. On the back it reads, now a classic of Marx and economists, The Limits to Capital provides one of the best theoretical guides to the history and geography of capitalist development. In this edition, Harvey updates the seminal text with a substantial discussion of the turmoil of global markets today, delving into concepts such as fictitious capital and even geographical development. Harvey takes the reader step by step through layers of crisis formation, beginning with Marx's controversial argument concerning a falling rate of profit and closing to the geopolitical and geographical implications of Marx's work. Check how many pages this book had. Roughly 500. And it has a very small text. And on to the third book, we have The Lost History of Liberalism, Ancient Rome in the 21st Century, Helena, Rosenblatt. See if there's an intro here. The changing face of liberal creed from ancient to today. The Lost History of Liberalism changes our basic assumptions about a political creed that has become a rallying cry. A term that reaches today's increasingly divided public square, taking readers from ancient Rome to today. Helena Rosenblatt traces the evolution of the words liberal and liberalism, revealing the heated debates that have taken place over their meaning. In this timely, provocative book, Rosenblatt debunks the popular myth of liberalism as a uniquely Anglo-American tradition centered on individual rights. She shows that it was the French Revolution that gave birth to liberalism, the Germans who transformed it. In the mid-20th century, the concept became widely known in the United States, and then, as now, its meaning was hotly debated. Liberals were originally moralists at heart. They believed in the power of religion to reform society, emphasized the sanctity of the family, and never spoke of rights without speaking of duties. It was only during the Cold War and America's growing world monogamy that liberalism was refashed into an American ideology focused so strongly on individual freedoms. So essentially, this book is talking about the history of the word liberalism and how it's used. Because you know how you can go to like...
Modern conservatives are history's liberals.
Yeah, right? It's just, it tries to really explain that. And let me just check how many pages there are. There's about 350 pages in here. The writing is pretty large compared to the other two. It's not like Bible text. It's just like reasonable, casual
text.
It's not like... Anyways, next up we have something on a completely unrelated note.
This guy is important later.
Ah, sick. Just sitting there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and on a completely unrelated note to the rest of the books, we move on to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, I
and
heard
Douglas
that's really good.
Yeah. It's introduced by Richard Dawkins and Nick Harkaway, but it's written by Douglas Adams. It's the nearly definitive edition.
Nearly?
I've read some of it. Yep. The front of it is really nice. It's a hardcover.
Oh!
And
What?
yeah, it's a hardcover. It has stars on the front, and it has like a black texture that you can feel, and it alternates stripes swirling around a whale that has a mouse inside of the whale. And then on the back it says, "Don't panic," which is pretty nice. Reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide inside of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This book has 800 plus pages, so I'm gonna say around 810 pages total. And first a legendary radio series, then a sequence of best-selling books, and most recently a blockbuster movie. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one of the greatest fictional enterprises of the 20th century. For the first novel's 35th anniversary, this hardback omnibus edition features all 5 parts of the trilogy, along with a wealth of extra
all
material
5 parts of the trilogy?
All 5. Yeah, I don't know how that works. But, yeah, along with a wealth of extra material prefaced with and contextualized by Jem Roberts, the official biographer of Douglas Adams, to complete the canon. This unique hardback edition is indispensable for any would-be galactic traveler and a must-read for all Douglas Adams fans. Pretty interesting. I think Douglas Adams died at some point in time.
Like usual people do that.
Yeah. I believe he died at a very young age. I'm not sure if it was due to sickness or if it was some sort of case where he committed suicide. I don't really know. But I did read the introduction, and my understanding, he's with us this day. Anyways, I have a lot of pages to go through, a lot of books to read.
Oh, I forget how to do this level like super quick.
Oh man.
Oh, this is the police one. This one's sick.
Ah, yes. I remember this one. This is one of the few levels that I do remember.
And I'm
Don't
really
they,
bad at it.
Don't they, they put like a sniper on the building across from this?
He looks through this.
Ah, yes. Very interesting.
Yeah, so once I clear out this area, they start coming in. Oh no,
Is that
they're
a
already here.
vault on there? Is he okay? Are you okay?
Am I okay?
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, that sucks.
This is the menu music. Miami, music kit, CS. Mother.
As much as I really like the music kit in CS, after hearing it like 10,000 times, it kind of gets old.
Oh, I bet.
Well, you know, you play a CS match, you're guaranteed to hear it 30 times because you're like the only person guaranteed to ever get an MVP because the rest of the team just sucks and I buy it.
When you get a better PC, you should go to CS if you want to.
I just uninstalled League of Legends.
That's a step in the right direction.
I don't know. I disconnect from games all the time.
God.
My computer blows up. So
Oh yeah,
I just
it's
can't play
your
games.
computer,
Internet, I don't know, just so many different problems. Every time it rains, my power goes out. That's super fun.
yeah. That's, yeah. Is cameras is considered safe? I think so.
I think technically, yeah, but we call it a village.
A village? Not even like a hamlet or anything. I'm super bad at this level right now.
I think my favorite, like, gotcha was on Twitter. Someone was like, you know how, like, cowboy towns are always like, my town is smaller than your town. They're all like really yeehaw about it, hick and stuff. Like, someone on Twitter was like, boy, you need to rethink what you consider a small town. My town has like 800, 500 people in it, okay? Yeah, I grew up in a small town, buddy. You don't get to take our words away from us, our ways. And then someone like crunched the math and like just did a little bit of research online, and they came back and they're just like, so according to various different researches, 500 to 800 people is actually considered a village. You lived in a village. You are a villager.
You are a villager. I feel like I need VSync on. I don't know if it's just the 80s aesthetic. Yeah, there's like some screen tearing. You see that? Like right in the middle?
Sort of. It's a lot less noticeable because I'm not playing, right?
Yeah.
And also, I usually don't have VSync on for any of my games. I've never really been bothered by it. Apparently Jason is really bothered by it, so he has to always turn VSync on. But he also always complains that he always has 60 FPS, despite his computer clearly being able to handle more.
Okay, yeah, just keep talking. It's practically a podcast right now, me doing the exact same shit.
Well, I have, so, I'm in a game with Jason in League, and my computer is just so awful, right? It can't run Dead by Daylight. It can't run The Binding of Isaac because it's missing core files. It just can't run really basic stuff. It takes probably like 20 to 30 seconds for me to load Google Chrome the first time. So that should really say something about my computer. And I can still get like 220 frames when I'm playing League sometimes. Other times, the RAM will start capsizing, and then it kind of just doesn't really matter what I'm doing. Everything will shut down. But when the RAM is not capsizing itself and blowing up my computer, I can get like 220 frames per second. All the lowest frames. So I use all the lowest settings on League, and Jason also uses all the lowest settings. The only difference between us is that he has VSync on and I have VSync off. And I'll get 220 frames and he'll get 60 frames. Why? Because of VSync. It'll cap your frames to the refresh rate of your monitor, and he gets really pissed off by that sometimes. So he says if he doesn't have VSync on, it really bothers him, but I honestly, I haven't ever noticed it. I've never once been like, I really need to turn VSync on because there's something seriously wrong.